Good afternoon. Welcome to the June 9th meeting of Hardin County Fiscal Court. I'd remind you, if you have cell phones, please turn them off or put them in vibrate mode. We'll begin with a roll call, if you would, Ms. Donnelly.
Ronnie Goodman.
Here.
King.
Here.
Judge Barry.
Here.
Easter.
Here.
Doug Goodman.
Here.
Boone. Here. Clam.
Here.
Wiseman.
Here.
Thompson.
Mr. Easter will lead us in the invocation, and Ms. Boone in the pledge, if you'll please stand.
Dear Heavenly Father, we're just thankful for this day that you've given us. We thank you for your love and your grace. We just ask that you be with us, guide, direct us as we go about this agenda, that we're found faithful at the end of the day. Lord, also this pandemic has taken a lot of focus off a lot of issues, and one that I don't want to forget, or that we shouldn't forget, is emergency service workers, responders, the hospital, the nurses, the doctors, and continue to pray for them and lift them up. And also, there's still men and women in our armed forces who are stationed abroad, and they're in harm's way. We just pray to be with them, bring them back home safe. We ask that you pray for their families during this time of separation. And now be with us as we conduct the business, and that we're found faithful at the end of the day. And it's all these things we pray in your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll start with department and office reports. First up is Animal Care and Control, Mr. Mike McNutt.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
Good. Good afternoon.
So, our numbers are not the greatest this year, or for this report. For adoptions, we had one down 42 from 2019. On our return to owners, we had 15, which was down 8 from the previous year. We rescued 15. Rescue's been really going strong, which is the one thing that has really saved us with what we're going through right now. We only euthanized 2 animals. Both of those were for aggression. Next slide, please. Year to date, we've still euthanized 29 less than we did last year. Next slide. Rescues down 2% compared to last year. Next slide. Dogs euthanized is down 1% for the year to date. Next slide. Dog adoptions is at 51%. That's actually up 2% compared to last year. We're doing online now, so I don't know what that's going to be like. It started off really good, but today we didn't have anybody coming in to adopt, so we're trying to think of a new plan to get people, make it easier for them to adopt from us. Next slide, please. RTOs were up. Everything we send out is microchipped, so we try and return them in the field as much as we can. But sometimes we do have to bring them in, and those are actually the numbers that you have in front of you. The ones that we return in the field are not ones that we actually track. Next slide. Complaints investigated are down 163 calls. Part of that's because during this pandemic we were only responding to emergency calls. Next slide. For March, in the unincorporated areas, we were at 42.24%, and in the incorporated areas, we were at 57.76%. Next slide. For the year to date, the unincorporated make up 45.83%, and the unincorporated make up 5.17%. No, 51.17%. Next slide. The overall shelter live release rate is up 7%, still sitting at 95%. So we've been able to maintain above 90% ever since we started with the Return to Field program. The cat live release rate is up 12%. It's overall is at 96%. Cat euthanasia is down 165 animals compared to last year. Next slide. The monthly cat live release rate is at 94%. Next slide. We had 9 visitors in April and May. So, is there any questions?
Not coming in to see you, are they?
Not during this, no.
So are you all just seen by appointment now? Or are you open to the public?
We're
or-
doing everything by appointment, front and back. The back has been steady. You know, we did 19 surgeries today. So ever since we started back doing the return to field and the stray intake, that's remained steady the entire time. It's the adoptions part that's been kind of a roller coaster. So we got some plans on trying to make it better. Just going to try and see what happens.
Okay.
Anyone else? Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
And next, we'll hear from Emergency Management, Mr. Bryce Shumate.
Good afternoon, Judge and members of Fiscal Court. I know y'all won't believe this, but I actually have a short presentation, which is a miracle in itself, right?
Well, we'll see.
You're not done yet.
With COVID-19 going on, you know, we haven't had as much interaction with the public, and actually things have been calmer because there haven't been as many wrecks or as many emergencies. But what a lot of people don't know is that emergency management all throughout the state of Kentucky has been extremely busy because the state handed down the care of all of the personal protection equipment through all of the emergency management. So not only have we been providing it to doctors' offices and dentist offices and our county offices, but it has been quite taxing to make sure, especially our long-term care facilities have been able to get this. And so it's taken quite a bit of time, even though those types of things aren't reflected in our report. But part of doing that, it means that we're on several committees and we have several telephonic meetings all throughout the week. And one of those that we have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is we are on a regional committee that approves and looks over what kind of personal protective equipment is going out to all of these facilities throughout our entire region. And I happen to be on the board along with our local health department that looks over those numbers to see what goes out and approval rate of those. So the way we manage that is through a Zoom meeting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. On the 11th of May, we had an actual dry run. Some of y'all may not know that we had a COVID testing facility at John Hardin High School. We're in our third week for having that facility. The last 2 weeks we've done that, and this week it's continuing to go on. And we would remind everybody that's watching this Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week. If they go on the Kroger Little Clinic, they're able to go through that portal and sign up. So we actually have been a big part of setting that up and providing equipment for the state of Kentucky and Kroger for getting that done. On the 18th of May, we had a motor vehicle crash that involved a commercial vehicle on I-65 at the 102 and took several emergency services folks throughout the county to manage that crash scene. 21st, we had an emergency services meeting. The 28th of May, we had an emergency directors meeting, as we have every other week in my office. And on that same day, we actually had a downed aircraft in Vine Grove. Thank goodness there was nobody injured other than a small laceration to the head, but it could have been quite disastrous, so we were very lucky. And then the siren test, June 9th and June 23rd. June 9th is by Hardin County Dispatch, and the 23rd is Radcliffe Police Department. Judge, that's the size of it this week, or this time.
Any comments for Bryce?
Bryce, do you get into the feedback on the amount of testing that's taking place in the county?
Say that again, I'm
Do
sorry.
you get into the feedback as to the number of persons testing?
When the first week that they had, they were getting 300 and 400 a day. Last week, they were averaging somewhere around 130 a day. Haven't gotten anything back because they just started today. Now, the times this week is from 7:30 to 2:30, and of course they're concerned about the hot weather, so they're cutting it short this week. So today, tomorrow, and Thursday we'll be testing out at John Hardin. I actually went through and got tested just to make sure. Thank goodness it was negative, but everything's good.
Anyone else? Okay, thanks, Bryce. We'll move on then to item 3, which is ordinances, agreements, and resolutions. First up is item 3A. It's ordinance number 321. It's series 2020. The second reading and adoption of the 2020-2021 budget. This was first presented on the 28th of April, discussed at the committee meeting on the 5th of May, and successfully had first reading on the 12th of May, and is before us now for second reading to be finalized.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Clem, second by Mr. Wiseman. I might add that in between those two readings is approved by the Department of Local Government, so we're all set. Any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Donnelly.
King,
Yes.
Judge Barry,
Yes.
Easter,
Yes.
Doug Goodman,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Clem,
Yes.
Wiseman,
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Ronnie.
Mr. Goodman, wasn't it?
Ronnie?
Oh, I want to scratch that off.
Yes.
Ronnie Goodman. Yeah, I changed things up.
Don't
Ronnie
want-
Goodman.
Yes.
Don't want to forget you. All right, we'll move to item 3B is ordinance number 323, series 2020. It's the second reading and adoption of an updated comprehensive ordinance related to the mandatory storage, collection, processing, transportation, and disposal of solid waste. At our last meeting, we had first reading of this and discussed at the committee as well. It's basically updating an 18-year-old ordinance that we had, incorporating all the previous amendments and clarifying some of the services and fees and exemptions.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Wiseman, second by Mr. Clem. Any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Donnelly.
Judge Barry,
Yes.
Easter, Doug Goodman,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Clem,
Yes.
Wiseman,
Yes.
Ronnie Goodman,
Yes.
King.
Yes.
And item 3C is resolution number 2020-084. It's approving a bid for the bridge replacement on Laurel Ridge Road. It did go before the Public Works Committee. There were 5 bidders, and the best bid, the lowest bid, is what was recommended by the committee.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Mr. Doug Goodman, second by Mr. Ronnie Goodman. Any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Donnelly.
Easter,
Yes.
Doug Goodman,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Clem,
Yes.
Wiseman,
Yes.
Ronnie Goodman,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Judge Barry.
Yes. That brings us to the consent agenda. Those items were listed in your packet. Are there any corrections that need to be made?
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Doug Goodman, second by Mr. Wiseman. Any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Donnelly.
Doug Goodman,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Clem,
Yes.
Wiseman,
Yes.
Ronnie Goodman,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Judge Barry,
Yes.
Easter.
We'll start around the table today with Mr. King.
Judge, I have no items.
All right. Mr. Ronnie Goodman.
I have nothing, sir.
All right. Mr. Wiseman.
We will have a solid waste committee meeting next Monday, the 15th at 3:30. Everybody's invited, and we'll have it right here in the courtroom because of the voting next door.
Okay. Mr. Clem.
As Mr. Easter reminded us earlier, we certainly want to continue to remember our first responders, but especially want to lift up our law enforcement. They're going through a tough time right now, and we need to step up and show our support for them and pray for their safety every day as they go out and put their lives on the line for all of us. And just remind you, too, not to drink and drive and not to text and drive. Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Boone.
Just a reminder that next Tuesday on the 16th, we will have the Resources and Community Support meeting at 3 p.m. here in this room next Tuesday.
Okay. Mr. Doug Goodman.
Have no items, Judge.
Mr. Easter.
Just pray for Dr. Lee's family. That's all I have.
Okay. Ms. Donnelly, anything from your office?
Just to remind everyone, absentee voting is going on at the county clerk's office Monday through Friday from 8 to 4 through June the 22nd. At the county clerk's office on June the 23rd, it'll be 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Sullivan, anything from your office?
No, thank you.
All right, and I would remind everyone, the next meeting of Hardin County Fiscal Court is on June 23rd at 3:30 in the afternoon here in the courtroom. Is there anything else that needs to come before us today? If not, a motion would be in order for us to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Clem, second by Mr. Wiseman. Is there any objection? Hearing none, we stand adjourned.